Hey, Nick, my boy. Guess
Hey,
what?
Julian. What?
Do you see what's happening on the screen?
Yeah, dude, you got like an angry pig man looking at his watch, staring at us with one eye.
What else do you see?
I see a couple of vessels of some kind. I see some kind of coffee container. I see some film grain effects.
Okay, and what does this lead you to believe?
Leads me to believe you better choose something, or the shop owner's gonna kick you out, buddy.
Well, I don't have any coins. I don't have any big gold coins, which is the currency for this game.
You look like a poor cup person.
You're leading me on. Please tell me what this game is.
I don't think that's what that means, but this is the game Cuphead.
This game is finally out, and oh, I don't know how to feel. I guess
You have
excited.
mixed feelings.
I do. So
Tell me
this
what you tell me how you felt prior to release.
okay. So this game has had a very long development period, probably about
Mhm.
4.5 years.
I think it was announced at the Xbox launch.
The Xbox One launch.
Sorry, yes, the Xbox One launch.
Okay, so that was,
That was
or
about
that
4 years ago.
yeah, it was like late 2013 when that came out.
Okay.
So yeah, so say like 4.5 years roughly. This game had been announced and has gone through many iterations. It seems like, and now the game's finally here. It's out, um, and we get to play it finally.
Yeah. So, how did you feel about what did you expect it to be like?
Well, okay,
What did you
so
want from it?
this game never really specifically, I think, was given a direction to the consumers from the developers. I think that they had said, okay, this is going to be sort of like a boss rushy thing. Maybe we'll throw in some platforming, but very early videos on it just showed boss fight stuff, and then the demos that they would show off at E3 were mostly just boss fight stuff. Um, and I think they listened to what people were saying and decided that they were going to make some changes and add some more platforming and the overworld, which I don't know if that was originally even considered a part of it.
Hmm.
So they've obviously taken some of their suggestions that were given to them, and they spent a very long time working on this game. Studio MDHR, I think they're called, who made this game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they were funded by Microsoft for the most part. This because as much as Microsoft liked to show this game off, I'm sure that they tossed some ducats their way to get this game out.
Yeah, well, it's a console exclusive.
Indeed, it is, and here it is. So this is it, man. And I've waited a very long time to actually own this game and play it. It's something that I've had a lot of interest in for since it was announced. I dig the whole vibe of it, and I think it's something that catches everyone's eye, whether it's you're a gamer or you're just like just maybe casually play video games, or maybe not even at all. I think it's just something that if you were to pass by it, it would be something that you would want to stop by and look at, because there's not a lot of things like this that exist in this particular style as a
Totally.
video game. I
So you were drawn to the style first and foremost, right? Were you also drawn to the gameplay, or was it really just you
No,
wanted
just I mean
to
the
see this
style,
in action?
the style for sure, and
Yeah.
this is something that I would show off to other people like it was somehow my creation in the early days. Not like I would take ownership, but I'd be like very proud to show this game to people because I felt that it's very unique and it does something very outside of the boundary of what's going on right now, which is most of these type of games that are kind of take retro inspired by gameplay mechanics from the days of yore are doing things in like the 16-bit or 8-bit style right now. It's like the very popular graphical style to implement. So
Right.
for a game like this to function as a throwback to games like Mega Man and Contra, but take a very very like obviously portrayal of old-timey 1940s 30s cartoons isn't something that really exists right now. So Cuphead is very unique in that way,
Totally.
and that's what I've been drawn to.
Okay, so what do you think of it now that you have it in your
Well,
hands?
let me start up a level. So this is the first area, right? And you go through a small tutorial in the beginning, which gives you the basics, and then you are plopped into this overworld that has what are essentially two run and gun areas that are basically just platforming, make it from point A to point B without taking too much damage and dying. You do have 3 hit points in each area, or each boss fight in each level. I think you can upgrade your character to have more, but it also depreciates the damage of your attacks if you do that. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. I think that was one of the options in the shop. But anyway, I have no coins, so I'm just going to jump in. This is the first boss fight that you do in the game.
Right.
And it's pretty easy. I've aced it at this point. I've replayed it and perfected it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to do well on this while talking, and that's something I'm usually not good at.
Okay.
But
Well, I first played this a couple minutes ago. I played it on simple.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah. So these one of the mechanics in this game is these each boss and each platforming area will have these pink colored objects. In this case, it's a worm. If you parry that, which if I actually have an item equipped that when I jump it automatically parries, but how you parry is if you don't have that item is you jump and then you press A again and it spins you in the air, and if you do that on a pink colored item, it gives you a card which you see in the bottom left, which functions as your super attack. So I have mine all the way filled right now, which means when I do it, it's going to unleash like a devastating super. But I'm going to save it for the second stage of this boss.
Okay.
I'm using the not effectively. I was using my secondary weapon, which I have equipped, which is like this shotgun burst.
Right.
But I'm going to use the super on this onion boy, I think.
Yeah, this game's style is pretty astonishing. I mean, it's not just impressive; it looks incredible.
Yeah, and not only do they like pull it off successfully, because this is, I imagine, something that is hard to do in some way because it hasn't really been done before.
Right.
But it's just so true to like in the way that the characters' facial expressions are, their movement, the backgrounds. If you look in the background of this, you see like that tire rotating in the back. There's those subtle touches that are so true to the what you would think of as like an old Merry Melody cartoon, an old Disney cartoon.
Yeah, totally. I noticed it especially in the eyes, the way the eyes look, and the way that the teeth look, especially in the primary antagonist, the devil, who's illustrated shown in the opening sequence.
So I did pretty well there, even though I was talking through that. But as I said, I played through that a few times.
Right.
So you get the scorecard at the end, pretty normal, I guess, for these type of games, where score is key. I was reading some reviews on this, like some early impressions from other reviewers, and a lot of people were speaking on how this game forces the player to be a perfectionist. And I guess there's multiple ways of looking at that in terms of the amount of content in the game. I mean, this is a $20 game right now, retail price, so I imagine that there might not be a ton here right now with the potential for expansion. So perfecting each level is going to be something that a lot of players are going to focus on once they get really into this game.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know that that's really something that you can tout as like a quality of a game so much as a necessity on behalf of the player to like find value where they otherwise may not. Like you can replay every mission in Grand Theft Auto 5 if you want to, but you don't because there's so many fucking missions in that game.
Right.
That you don't have to. And to say that a specific kind of game, a short game, um, makes a player feel like they want to become a perfectionist is a colorful way of saying there's very little content.
True, true. And I think that might be the case here. It didn't take me very long at all to get through the first world. I think I'm on like the last little bit of it, maybe two more bosses, or maybe even one more boss. I'm not entirely sure, but I jammed through the first world's bosses pretty quickly. Some took obviously longer than others. This one in particular with these frog boys took me a while to get the hang of. The first two, I took 2 damage, but I got to the point on this one where I was able to get through these first 2 stages pretty easily.
Okay.
But the third one is a real pain. I'll try to get there so you can see that. It's pretty cool.
As to like the length of a game, I'm not saying that a game is better if it's longer. I don't think that's true at all, but and I'm totally fine with games being short and with games being having strong enough gameplay that I want to replay them. I'm just saying that I just don't think that validation of shortness is necessary, really.
Right.
But having played the game, it feels like it's a competent, solid shooter, and it has good bullet hell instances, and I like the patterns of the bosses. It looks like a good game.
Yeah, I am enjoying it so far a lot, and I think that this isn't really the type of game I like to play.
Right.
I mean, I appreciate retro style games, and I don't mind like playing those every now and then. But bullet hell games is never something I've found much interest or fun in playing. So I'm willing to forsake that to play this and see if I can beat the whole game without getting too frustrated.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. 2D Mega Man style shooters are not really my thing either, especially boss centric ones. I'm more of an exploration player. But I can identify when a game is good, and if it's good, I'll still enjoy it. I'm not like opposed to shooters necessarily, but like I don't know, my interest in this game was also primarily in the style, and I kind of wished that, well, for my own sake anyway, that this sort of style was applied to a different kind of game, because this kind of game is just not really my kind of game necessarily.
Yeah, totally. And it would be really cool if Studio MDHR were to take this and translate it into another format, like a light RPG or something of that nature, Even like, could you imagine something like fucking Animal Crossing in this game combined somehow?
Oh, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Or like a Metroidvania kind of game.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Rad.
Because I want to like hang out and look, and I want doors to animate wildly and that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this style lends itself really well to existing in an environment, just merely for the visual of it, Like, I remember I used to really just and it's actually, they're hard to find, this style of cartoon. I don't know how much there is of it on YouTube or other sources, but I used to be really into this in like, I don't know, like maybe mid high school years. I would like just want to watch these old cartoons just for the background, because I love the hand-drawn scenery and everything, and it lends itself really well to just the environment and being lost in it in the background.
So these like 1910s through 1930s animated cartoons like this, they tend to have rhythmic elements in their animation because they were primarily like proto music videos. They didn't have a lot of story going on. They were most of the audio was just music, if not all of it, and the animation was done in a way that matched it, like typically like to the beat. Do you feel like this game does that kind of thing at all?
Sort of. Honestly, I played with the sound up pretty high, you know, not overblown, but I wanted to experience the music as well because I think in some areas the music is effective and it does feel very much a part of the gameplay in terms of like the rhythmic portion. But I think honestly is that it's something that at least I've noticed so far isn't fully developed. Like it just feels like there's some areas where the music isn't as important. Case in point, this area, I think that it's like not even, I don't know. It just doesn't feel as important in this game.
Gotcha. So you're having a hard time with this one?
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm gonna move on to another one just so we can cover some of the other areas. That's basically the same amount of trouble I was having earlier when I was first trying to beat that one.
So you were saying earlier that they added these platform elements that were not previously shown in the game early in the preview cycle. Do you feel like, what are those like, and do you have any that you can show me?
Yeah, this is one right here.
Okay.
So this is the run and gun level, or there's two in this first overworld area, and this is the better one, I think. So this is just simple, like, you know, run back and forth, get to point A, point B.
Yeah.
You have obstacles throughout. You get these the pink objects that you can parry off of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this, but I'm gonna try. This one took me a little bit. Got the woody woodpecker coming in. Big woodpecker boy.
Shit.
I had a different power up on that would you have an air dash like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I had one on that when you do that it makes you invisible, which is essentially invulnerable for a short time. But I found that the automatic parry works better because having to time your parry with like the objects that are parryable is actually pretty difficult because most of them are in the air, so timing it is actually difficult. So being able to just jump into the pink things is super helpful.
Totally. Are there checkpoints in these run and gun levels?
No, they're got to make it all the way through with 3 health.
How long are they?
They're actually pretty short, but very difficult. So if you take your time, you know, probably less than a minute, maybe a minute and a half.
If you take your time, it's less than a minute?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty short. I mean, as you saw there, where I got to was almost like a little more than halfway through.
Oh.
I guess it's more closer to like maybe 3 minutes if you take your time. But there is like a small mini boss at the end, and that can take upwards of a minute, maybe less. So yeah, it's probably like closer to 3 minutes than I think about it. Now I'm just running through.
It's kind of interesting. There are some elements that are like very firmly like Betty Boop 1910 illustration, and then there are some elements that are almost like Hanna-Barbera illustration, like these these log dudes that shoot bullets at you. They look a lot like Captain Caveman sort of characters.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it does seem to draw inspiration from the whole breadth of like early cartoons, you know, because
Right.
you're right, there is some stuff in here that probably would have come later.
The eyes on that woodpecker are so like exactly the style that this game is going for. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, everything is so detailed. Like if you just look at the little tree faces on these little stump things,
Yeah.
they're the way their eyes move, and it's just everything's so well done. I was disappointed for a few years as this game got delayed, but it seems like they delivered a complete package and a fully realized game. So I'm glad for that.
Yeah, and there have been other independent games, specifically independent games that have been hand animated in much the same way that I imagine that this game was hand animated. I can't imagine it being done any other way.
Yeah.
But and the backgrounds are clearly done in watercolor, and it looks great. But those other games, while also being done in the same way, they tend not to have the same sort of like finesse, I guess.
Right.
Like I think Hollow Knight was hand animated, but that was clearly hand animated like on computer software, whereas this has a lot of the character of like physical material.
Yeah. So let's check out the last the level that I'm on right now that I haven't beaten yet, and see if I can get through it on the first try, and if not, whatever.
Okay.
Probably gonna take me.
Show me your pro level play.
All right.
Show me your leaderboard
All right,
shit.
this is real talk right now. This is the real talk mode. All that other stuff
yeah,
was
baby.
I didn't want to show off, you know.
Nah, well now I want you to get your dick out. Show me what this game is like.
All right. So this last area in this that I haven't beaten yet is the Threatening Zeppelin level, and you actually are flying a plane. So
Whoa.
that's a new mechanic.
Look at her. Look at her.
She's got little buddies, little evil buddies, and she actually, do you see she spits out lettering, and that will hurt you.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot she comes back.
It hurts to get laughed at.
It does. This,
Whoa.
Yeah, this one is super difficult. That bull is not messing around.
She's vicious and she looks rad.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give it one more go.
Okay.
This is for
That
all.
was
This is for all the marbles. If I don't get it here, I have to return the game.
Okay. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
The return process is humiliating.
It really is. God.
Holy
damn
shit.
it.
Your future ain't so bright, kid.
No.
Get up, get up, get up. What are you doing?
I don't know. That bull charge is like
Get
so
up.
tricky.
Stay up there. Okay. Down there's fine too.
All right.
Wow. Give me one more. Give me one more.
All right, I'll give you one more.
Okay.
This was the one I was struggling on severely though. I think I got to the third form that she has, but I'm having a real hard time getting past the bull form. Okay, there she goes. I think that when she leaves her, like that whatchamacallit, I can't think of the word for it.
Form? Her
The
her
star
unicycle?
chart.
Oh, okay.
The
Constellation.
constellation. When she leaves that behind, I think that must be the one for the bull, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, I see. There's something about the perspective in the way that the characters are turned toward us and away from us that is uniquely modern, but I also really, really like it in spite of whether or not it's anachronistic.
Yeah. Okay, so this bad Cupid boy is evil. Yeah.
Oh my god, you just begged for that shot.
I really do. All right,
me.
I'm gonna actually. I think this might be a controller rage game, so we'll see.
Okay, are you feeling it?
A little bit.
Okay, take a breath.
Thank you.
Do some meditation with me.
Off camera though.
Of course.